It's day 11 of the podcast, and I want to begin looking at what God had in mind when He created man. Seems like to discover what it was that was God's perfect will, we have to go back to the very beginning. And when we read Genesis chapter 1 and 2, we begin to see that day upon day, God creates the world and all that's in it. And as He completes each day, He says it's good. When He gets to day 6, He creates man. It says He creates man in His image. Male and female, He creates them. And when He has finished making Eve and giving Eve to Adam, He also says this is good. There's an interesting verse when you kind of hear the story rehearsed again in Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. And it says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were completed, and all their host." So we're aware of the animals and everything that were created here. Man was created and placed upon the earth. But there was also the heavenlies, and there was a whole created set of beings that were suited for heavenly places. So these two realms, both created with beings that were perfectly suited for the environment that they were placed in. Now let's pick up the idea of how we were fashioned, how man was fashioned. And Scripture says that we were created in the image of God and have His nature and His likeness. But John 4:24 tells us that God is spirit. Two things where it comes right out and says who and what God is. John 4:24, God is spirit. And then in 1 John we see that God is love. But the fact that God is a spirit being. So we're going to be looking at the fact that we were created with parts of us that were best suited for the earth, but we were also created to have a relationship and access heavenly places. So created in God's image and likeness, we were created to be spiritual beings. So we were designed to dwell on earth, but to be able to navigate, remember I used that word when I described how we're to be operating. We were designed to navigate the heavenly places as well. So to be in His image and likeness, we were formed, mankind was formed, humans were formed with a body, basically the tent that we live in, however big or small that is for you. We have this tent that we live in, and this body that we have contains two other aspects to us. First one I want to share about is our soul. We were designed to have a soul, our soul being our mind, our will, and our emotions. And that's helpful for navigating this natural, tangible realm that we're in. But we were also given an alive spirit at creation. We were created to be spiritually alive, to be able to walk and commune with God who is spirit, and to be able to access the heavenly realms. Tomorrow I'm going to draw a picture that kind of helps us with this and to see it a little bit better. But here's my question for you today. How aware are you of how these three parts function in yourself? If you have been born again, you are spiritually alive and you are body, soul, and spirit. How aware are you of how these three parts of you function? Consider that.